welcome to our new recording studio, which is the same recording studio. We just finally bought mics that didn't cost $50 for both of us.
Smooth as butter.
And this looks professional behind us, but what you don't know is that there was some gaps and I just filled them in with marker so you couldn't see them. And it's actually stuck on cardboard, and there's some spots where it's like duct tape to the wall. So looks can be deceiving. Remember that.
Don't believe everything you see online.
Okay, anyway, squirrel. Welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Sherry, a financial coach.
And I'm Val, a financial planner. And today we are talking about New Year's resolutions for ADHD people, humans like us, and why they typically aren't the thing for us.
Why they suck.
Why we are anti-New Year's resolution people. I love the idea of a fresh start, but I have always felt a pressure to like do something and wake up on January 1 as a new version of Val, and I never do. What's great is like for the past 3 years, I haven't woken up hungover because I've not been drinking. So that's a plus, but take it away, Sherry.
Plus. And the plus is also that as non-drinkers, we get to get our loved ones home safe on New Year's Eve, except for because I'm old and I have astigmatism and things get blurry at night with lights. So I only like to stay within town. So sorry, my out-of-town friends, but you chose to live where you live. Love you. We also got a new toy that does sound, so we're not even fucking sorry about it. So I have no statistics on this, but I know that there are statistics that say in general, among the general population, resolutions don't stick. I think I've seen statistics around like within the first month of the year, the number of people that have abandoned their resolutions is really significant. And when you add ADHD into the mix, it has to be more significant. Maybe I'll look those stats up, but I probably won't. So what resolutions are, especially for folks with ADHD, is this thought that we are going to wake up on January 1st or Monday or the first of the next month and be completely different fucking people who can do things that we've struggled with in the past, and we think we're going to do a complete 180, and we're not going to. So let's just be fucking for real.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we can do instead of setting ourselves up for failure. And I know that the gyms are just like, yeah, win for us, influx of memberships. But let's talk about things that work better for individuals like ourselves. Because I know I've always created some list and I'm like, yeah, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be the year. This is my word for the year. And that's not a bad thing. I don't mind the word for the year. But when it comes to reinventing myself on January 1, it just leads to a feeling of guilt, shame, and crap.
Yeah. And like a feeling of failure and a feeling of we're never enough and I can't do the things I should do and I'm never going to achieve the things I want to do. And it really can just put us in a downward spiral, which like, I don't know, by like the 10th of January, you are beating yourself up, and we don't want that for you. But
nor
if you, if you do want to make some changes, first off, well, this is going to air right at the end of 2024. So, but if you're listening to this at another time, don't think you need to wait for the beginning of the next month, the beginning of the next year, the beginning of the next week. If you want to do something and you want to change something in your life, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to smarten
up. Don't try to change anything. Stay as you are.
Again, not even sorry. I'm probably not even going to edit that shit out. Start small.
Yes.
Think baby steps. If you want to grow your savings, can you move $5 into a savings account? Now, first, can you open a savings account that's brand new? And if you know you're going to be more successful if it's at a different financial institution, can you open up a savings account somewhere that you don't regularly bank at and put $5 in there?
I was just thinking this is very similar to my clients with investing. Rarely does someone save up a whole bunch of money and then go, okay, now I'm ready to invest.
Yeah, don't do that.
Typically, it's X amount per week, X amount per month. Like, we start small to get to that bigger goal down the road. But right now, our only commitment, $25 a week or
Yep.
whatever it may be for that client that we decide on. So with these goals that we have or these changes that we want to make, starting small and starting somewhere.
Yep.
There's no better time to start than now, and stop as much as you can. Remove that guilt of, I should have done this X, so long ago. I should have done this. I wish I would have done this then. Like, that's just bleeding your energy to the past, and it's just going to die there. You can't go back and change it.
Yeah. And small, tiny steps. So think about the thing you want to do or achieve in the next year, next month, whatever, and break it down into the tiniest steps possible. And I have a resource for this, which I will link in the show notes, that I can't remember what it is right now. But there is a website where you can go and say, I want to do this. And you tell it how minutely to break the steps down.
So do you mean like daily, weekly, monthly sort of thing?
It's not necessarily timeline. I bet you probably would if you asked it to, or you can ask ChatGPT too, right? Like, think about how many steps you want it to be broken down into. And this resource will, like, if, for example, like, I think I used it for like planning a workshop. And it broke down exactly all of the steps that I needed to do, recommended timelines on doing them based on the date I wanted to have the workshop. So it's like, what's the smallest thing you can do today? I know it feels so contradictory to what the world pushes on us. The world pushes on us, okay, January 1, we're going to work out for an hour a day. We're going to eat all the
75 hard.
Oh, 75 hard. I appreciate the people that do it, but really, especially for folks with ADHD, it is a little bit toxic, because it's, for those that you don't know, it is 75 consecutive days of, I'm probably going to fuck this up, but like 2 workouts of 45 minutes long, one of them outside.
Yes.
A gallon of water, no alcohol, no cheat
sugar.
meals. Yeah. And it's hard for anybody to be that consistent with something.
I would love for Jenny Lee to share about her vibes on 75 hard.
Oh, are you listening, Jenny Lee? We're going to have you on one of these days. And it's very, for people that are wanting big change and that they love rules and they need rigidity, it can be perfect. But for somebody with ADHD, I feel so much immediate resistance to it, because there's no wiggle room and there's no forgiveness. And if you fail, you fail. There's not a, like, you can miss one day and you can still complete it. It's so hardcore, and rigidity. We need flexibility, and we are hard enough on ourselves that we don't need an external system to be hard on us, because we build so much shame into things. So if you want to start being more active, if you want to start a mindfulness practice, can you start with 10 minutes? Can you start with a walk around the block? Yep. Think about how little you can begin with, and then just expand on that and give yourself forgiveness. Like, don't try and do something every day, because we just need to be kind to ourselves and think about what is going to help me be the most successful, and what is going to help me not, I hate this term, but you throw the baby out with the bathwater when something goes wrong, because we tend to be all or nothing. And then when it's nothing, it's absolutely nothing. And then we give up on ourselves. And
I think too, depending on what that goal is and what your comfort level is, having someone that you share that with and a bit of an accountability partner is very helpful. Even if they don't share the same goal, like Sherry and I would like to run a half marathon. We will run a half marathon next fall, and we train differently, but even if my goal was something else and her goal was that half marathon, we could still hold each other accountable with how we're doing, and giving ourselves grace and giving ourselves the kick in the butt that we need.
Yep. Yeah, I love that. So find a buddy who you can say, here's my plan.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to do. Each week I want to go for 5 walks. And this week they're going to be 10 minutes. And next week I want them to be 20. And having somebody who can be that balance between pushing when you need a little tough love, but also allow you that safe spot for kindness when it's like, you know what, I just had a really shit week and I only got out for 3 walks, and what made it shit. And that person that you can talk to, and maybe it's somebody online, because often there's not necessarily those people in our lives that are going to understand the kindness that we need. But
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't have a buddy, if things don't go the way you want them to, think about, what would you say to somebody you care about if they were coming to you with that challenge? Because
Yes, be your own best friend. Be
Yeah.
kind in your mind.
be kind in your mind. We spend
kind
so
in
much
your
time
mind.
in our mind, and
Make it-
we're jerks to ourselves. So
I also like, if it's a goal that I don't have anyone that I talk to about it, I like creating either, like, one of them is at the end of each month, I fill in this certain number. So I have the months wrote down, and then it's satisfying, gratifying for
Yep.
me to go, oh yeah, it's now December. I can go to November's, the last day in November, and fill in this number. So some people do things where they color in little squares.
what number are you writing down?
I'm writing down how many households or how many families I've helped.
Aw,
Yeah.
I
But-
love that.
But you used to do sticky notes on a wall, and that's kind of where it sparked for me. Is that we were on a call one time, and you're like, oh yeah, these sticky notes are all the families I've helped this year, or the individuals.
Yeah.
And I was like, I freaking love that. So mine's a little less visual, but I would like to do something more visual
Yeah.
for 2025.
Let's do that. Every person we help, every family we help, we put a little sticky note. And that's why I have my heart sticky notes.
And
Why did I stop doing that?
I think I had a hard time with it at first, because I'm like, well, like sometimes I have a conversation with a client and it could just be a conversation, but that's still helping them. Just
Yep.
because it didn't create me business revenue, that masculine energy, I have to set aside and be like, nope, it still helped me. So I would like to do that, and then somehow put it into like a book for that, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
at the end of the year. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that. Or my jar over there. I've just got a little dollar store jar where
Yes.
I actually use it for gratitude. And every week I have a reminder on my phone that tells me to put a note in there. And then at the beginning of the following year, I look through it and see. And every once in a while, like my kid or my husband would have stuck something in there. And I don't know if they did this year, because my office used to be in a more like
Central.
open spot. But yeah, something like that, where at the end of the next year, you're pulling it out and you're
Love
like
that.
their name and like a little something that you.
I think I'm going to do that as gifts for some people, is like sticky notes in a dollar store jar.
Yeah. It's wonderful, because it
Genius.
helps you reflect on all of the good things, because
Yes.
we're so focused on the right now, and we forget about all of the things we've done, especially for professionals that are in helping
Mm-hmm.
careers like we are. We sometimes forget the impact that we have, and it can be a little bit of a slog sometimes, but being able to remember who we've helped and reflect back on that can
Yeah.
help us move forward. So if you want to make some changes with your money in 2025, or whenever you're listening to this,
Mhm.
think about what you want to achieve, and then think about breaking it down into the smallest steps. So let's throw an example out there. I have $5,000 of credit card debt
Okay.
that I want to pay off.
Yep.
What first step would you suggest?
Okay, my brain goes, my brain does 3 things. Do you have a line of credit? Because the interest rate's going to be better on the line of credit. So we should move it there. We should probably stop using the credit card, because it's going to be really muddled to see what that balance is as we're currently using it. And then we want to look at our monthly picture and look at how much can we put towards this? How much can we prioritize putting towards this while not going into further debt? And then looking at, okay, if I can put $400 a month towards it, I have to keep in mind that some of that's going to be interest. So there's online calculators to work that out. But then looking at, okay, 5,000 divided by 400, interest in there. How long is that going to take me? And I would probably also assign maybe an award at 2,500 for myself and an award at 5,000 being paid off. That's what I would do. What would you do?
You gave me 7 steps. I just wanted one.
I know.
Okay, so I don't have a line of credit.
Okay.
So I can't move it.
Okay.
And I want to stop using my credit card, because I know it becomes a roller coaster when I use it.
Mhm.
But I don't know how to stop using my credit card, because I need my credit card
Mm-hmm.
to buy things, because I don't have enough money in my bank account right now to buy my groceries until I get paid next. So so what do I do right now?
So we're living in a place where we're spending money that we don't have, right? So I have to use that credit card, and we're like not assigning shame to it, just being like, okay, this is the tool that I have to use right now, but being mindful that let's use it for what we need, not what we want as we're going through this. So, okay, we're going to use this until we get paid, and now we have money in our account, but we need to be mindful of where bills are coming from. And then, which is nice when you can separate bills and spending, having two different checkings account to have clarity around how much can I spend versus there's this much in my account, but oh yeah, the mortgage, the insurance, this comes out, that comes out. So I have to be mindful of those things. Take that mental calculator out of there and just give yourself two accounts to be like, okay, there's my groceries and gas and living. And I've got 2 weeks left until I.
Yeah. And if you need that credit card to be the bridge until you get paid next time,
which isn't uncommon.
Listen to our episode on wants versus needs to help you make some tough decisions. And it's like, it's kind of that short-term pain for long-term gain. So can you reduce your spending as much as possible? What's in your cupboard? What's in your fridge? What's in your freezer?
Yeah, get creative.
Can you spend on all of the things until you get paid next? And then really using that to bridge the gap. And then what we often see people do is they get paid and then they take a whack of their paycheck and put it towards their credit card. And I know it sounds contradictory, but don't do that. Keep your money in your bank account. Look at your plan. And yes, you need a plan. And yes, we know it's not fun or sexy, but you need to know what are your bills, your rent, your internet, all of those things. And then what other spending do you need? Groceries, gas, entertainment, and have a plan that feels balanced, that doesn't feel super restrictive. And then I love that second account, an account for your bills and a second account that's your spending account that it has the amount you put in every month, every 2 weeks for spending. And then you don't have to track everything. You only have to know, okay, what needs do I have to spend on out of this account in the next 2 weeks before I get paid? And what's my balance? And am I going to go order DoorDash for dinner tonight? Or is it not in the plan because I know I need gas and groceries before I get paid next? And then just like be kind to yourself. Maybe you go hard for a little bit. Like having a super restrictive budget is not sustainable long term, but you can do sprints. I see people that go out and they have this goal. They want to do a no spend year.
Yes.
And they have rules around it where they can replace things and all of that. But maybe you do a no spend 2 weeks.
Or 2 weeks.
Or month. Or it's like, what short sprints can you do to help you get to your goal?
I think clients have this vision that a budget or spending plan will be very restrictive. But I think of it as, have you ever seen the movie Spirit? It's about a horse. It's a Disney movie. Okay, it's okay.
I can
it's
picture
older.
the cover, but I don't think I've actually seen it.
I can hear the VHS container opening. So when we don't have any plan, we are truly like a wild horse running through the friggin' mountain ranges, like there's a lot of risks out there because we don't know what's behind that tree, what's in that forest, what's in this valley, but we're wild and it's okay. It's okay. We don't really care. So we have in our mindset that being put into this pasture that's maintained and has a fence, it's secure, it's safe. That's what it is. It's not putting ourselves into this box. It's having this boundary to then be able to run around safely and not harm ourselves and not be as at risk.
If there was ever an award for the most creative and varied analogies, you would win.
I literally I saw a horse in my head as you're talking. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm trying to explain to clients, is that the freedom is in the fences.
Yep.
It comes with the boundaries.
Freedom is in the fences.
The freedom.
Val Stratford, December 11th, 2024.
So in talking about money goals, we want to be intentional. So I love this. I've recently taken up vaping, in case anyone was wondering. That's why I sound like this. Okay. You have
$5,000. Lying. Don't believe her.
Oh gosh, yeah. $5,000 of debt. And we've talked about, waiting until the next pay.
Yep.
And gaining clarity around those numbers to look at how much can I put towards this debt? Because this debt has either come from an emergency or living outside of our means. We can typically place where it's come from.
Ooh, important step. Call your
Mhm.
credit card company and ask if they can lower the interest rate.
Yes.
Maybe it's a no,
It's always worth asking.
but I had one client years ago call. She timed it. I think she spent less than 5 minutes on the phone and they dropped her interest rate by, I think, 5%.
Yeah.
So that is huge when it comes to paying off your credit card faster. And also another thing I would recommend too is be sure to check your card for transactions that even when you stop using your card at the grocery store, at the gas pump, like subscriptions and other things like that that are going on it. So say you have $100 worth of charges that are going on it as a subscription or whatever every month. Be sure to automate a payment going to that card for that $100 in addition to your minimum payment and that extra you want to put towards it. Or can you stop or pause those subscriptions? So really get ruthless. And I recorded a guest episode on a different podcast yesterday, and one of the things that she asked, it was a great question, was what would you do if you don't have enough income to cover your expenses? So I went back to the time in my life when I had just lost my job and we cut so ruthlessly that if you had asked me the week before how like little we could get to living off of each month, I never would have thought we could get to that number because we cut everything
Right.
that was not essential. I think we kept like $20 every 2 weeks personal spending money just so that we would have something.
Yeah.
But just like
Often when our back is against that wall, we can
Yep.
make pretty
Yep.
clear decisions.
So I don't want you to ever have to go through this, but think about if you lost your job or your income, if you're self-employed, you lost all your income tomorrow, what would you be willing to cut?
Mhm.
What could you cut? And like find somewhere between where you are now and that, and, you know, add things and take them away as you need to not have all the joy taken from your life. And yeah, punch that number into an online calculator and figure out how long will that $400 take you to get that $5,000 paid off. And then put some dates down on the calendar.
Mhm.
And we love good, better, best goals. So if you think $400 a month is going to be manageable,
Mhm.
but if you work a little more, you add on another client and you like cut some things back, maybe you could do $500, or maybe if all the stars aligned, you could do $600 extra towards your debt. Just really give yourself some goals that will help push you, because with ADHD, we can often see, oh, it's the 15th of the month and I've already put 350 extra towards my debt. So I can kind of put things to autopilot for the next 2 weeks and then I'll start again. But if you have those push goals, that can help keep motivating you to like, what's next? Oh, maybe I can get to $600 this month. Like I'm at 350 and it's the 15th of the month. Shit, I bet I could get to 600. Like, let's fucking go, because that can help us be inspired and not be bored. So small steps, be kind to yourself. Know that life's going to happen and there's going to be weeks and months where you don't do the things that you want to do. And also know that we're going to get bored. So if something's going to take us a year, and say this is that goal of paying off that $5,000 of debt, maybe we're going to get really bored with trying to reduce our spending. And month 3, we're like, I am over this. I still want to pay off the debt, but let's flip. Let's see how I can increase my income. What can I do to bring in more income so I can add more expenses in and feel more balanced? So don't be afraid to pivot, because that is the lifeblood of things that helps us get shit done.
Yes. So when it comes to those New Year's resolutions, don't put yourself under that crunch. Start somewhere, start small, have a buddy involved, use ChatGPT to help you plan.
I love ChatGPT.
Me too.
Special tip. If you want it to do something and it will be easier for you to digest if it is in a chart, tell ChatGPT to put it in a chart.
Live, laugh, chart.
visually so much easier to digest and easier to see and easier to track because we need that. So yeah, think about getting creative, think about tiny steps, and just keep in mind that the direction that you're going is much more important than the speed that you're going. And if a friend, a loved one, somebody in social media land is going in the same direction and they're going faster, you don't know their full situation. You don't know their life. They could have things a whole lot easier than you.
I think cheer them on. Stay in your own lane. Don't worry about the horse in the other lane. You can be like, you go, buddy, but just run your own race.
Yep. And just try and be a little bit better than you were yesterday because we are our own competition. So yeah.
Wow.
That was not a Sherry original.
You're sharing all the warm and fuzzies today. Thank you for listening to the Mind and Money podcast.
And we can't wait to see you next time. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And have a great new year if you're listening to this when it's just come out. And we will talk soon.